Welcome to my next worm video. I'm going to do the same thing in this video as I did in the last one. If you follow my channel or watch any of my videos on here, uh, I'm not going to do a lot of editing. I'm just going to basically talk over two long videos of me rifling through this bin. This is the first feeding that I did, and then after I'm done with this, it'll cut to the next video I did a few days later. So this was 14th March 2021. Um, my last video you saw, I had I had split my old bin up into. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. Look at these worms. I'm gonna try to keep doing this every video. I'm gonna do a close up of the worm party, wherever the last feeding was. They're just stuck to my hand everywhere right there. So yeah, I split up my worm bin into two bins a little bit ago. Um, and the last video I did was just bin number one, and this is now bin number two. And my plan is just to keep alternating feedings and feed each of them. I don't even know what the plan is right now. Once, twice a week. Try to disturb them as little as possible. So you can see I fed my last feeding that I did was on the left there, and there's you can see all the worms. And so I'm finding that when I do that and I leave the bin for about a week or less than a week, not all the food is digested, but all the worms really do migrate over there. So I'm thinking when I finally do want to harvest worm castings for the first time, because I've never done that because I'm new to vermicomposting. When I finally do that, I feel like it's going to be really easy. I'm just going to set up a feeding zone on one side of this bin, and everything's going to migrate over. Uh, so this is my first time doing some crushed shells. I forget what they were, like plums maybe. I bought like a bunch of plums, and ate them all, and uh, basically like take out the core and just feed that. And I realized, oh, these shells, maybe that can be grit, and so I crushed those up and tried that. Um, I'm gonna be referencing old videos a lot. This is really for myself. I don't expect anyone's actually watching these and listening to me talk. I'm guessing anyone actually watching these is just like fast forwarding to the part where it shows the worms and they're interested. But maybe I'll just make this like this worm series my video, my diary for myself, essentially, where I just talk to myself. Uh, and so I'm going to be referencing like other videos constantly. So in my last video, I talked about how I fed a bunch of broccoli to a bin, and then the next time I dug it up, it was like it vanished. So this is it. This is me. So, well, what, we're almost 3-4 minutes into the video. In a few minutes, when it cut to the other video of the second feeding, a few days after this, you'll see all that broccoli that I just put there. You'll see when I dig it up into there, um, it maybe I misremembered, but we'll see. We'll see when we see the video. It like vanished. It was all gone. They ate up all the broccoli super fast, and I was really interested to see that because as you can see right there on the left hand side, there was still like grapes and stuff. Um, so I'm trying to see like what takes longer, what takes a short amount of time. From my very anecdotal evidence of just vermicomposting for a couple months, it seemed, and I haven't, I've only fed broccoli like a couple times too. It seems like they eat the broccoli straight away, they gobble it up, and it seems like it takes grapes a little bit longer. And I'm wondering, uh, so I wouldn't have guessed that. I would have thought like anything with sugar, any of these actual like flesh of fruits, they would just love that and just go straight for that. Um, and it seems like I mean, they do. You can see on these videos when I put the grapes in Um, there's worms all over where I put the feedings of the grapes. Maybe it's just that they're able to digest the broccoli faster because there's less calories or something. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. I really don't know. Um, so another thing I'm doing with like all this new composting that I'm doing, um, I don't feed everything to my worms. Like I have a little compost bin in my kitchen that I just put stuff constantly in as well, and then I will just like in my apartment complex, there's a bigger compost bin for collection, and I just like I walk it down there and I frequently just like put stuff in there. So I'm trying not to throw away anything that's compostable. Uh, so like when I use paper towels and crumbs and stuff, and I'll just put paper towels in my compost bin. Um, but I say that because like every now and then I was like, okay, I'll use this paper towel to put in the worm bin. So I'll lay those in there. Um, really, I actually I can't wait till really what I want. I want a house with a yard. Because I want to set up a garden and stuff. I want to do like real composting with like everything. I don't like putting it in the green bin and just like shipping it off to wherever. Uh, I want to just use it all for myself. I want to make a shit ton of compost. But that's a, you know, that's I will do that eventually when I move in a different place and sometime in the future. Um, oh yeah, I think I talked about last video as well. All the tiny worms are on the plastic, and I tried to get a little close up there. Th those worms love living on that plastic. It seems like, and it's all the baby worms. It's all really really tiny worms. So the last feeding I just showed you was 14 March, and this is 20 March, so 6 days later. Um, yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do about once every 7 days. This was 6 days. I think I got a little impatient. I uh, just wanted to see my worms. So I'm good. I don't know. I gotta get like 7 bins so I can dig worms every day. Once a day, dig into worms, and I could have 7 bins and give them a week to eat whatever food I put in. So if you rewind, you could see um, like how much those coffee filters decomposed in the 6 days, and I think in a previous video you saw like there's a paper towel that got eaten up, like there's holes everywhere in it. Here, these paper towels did not seem to get eaten up in those 6 days, and so like always, I when I re-put these on there, I'm really curious to see next time I open this bin up and I look at it, what it's gonna look like. Um, how much those paper towels will be eaten up. All the worms that like come to the surface and like take bites of the paper towels. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna dig into this and what the feeding zone was on the right. I think that's where I put all the broccoli, and I don't think we could find any broccoli left in this. It was only 6 days, and it all just like vanished essentially, which is really really interesting to me. But there's not see all the broccoli vanished, but there's not just worms everywhere. So maybe they just they ate it all up and they're like, oh, there's nothing here anymore, so let's go somewhere else and keep searching for other food. Yeah, so I'm really excited to open this bin up again next time I do to just because I'm wondering when I split up the worms if it's possible that um, the worm population was not split evenly, and maybe I put more worms in the other bin than this bin. But hey, there's a lot of worms in here. It's on the left hand side. What? So I did the feeding on the right hand side, and still all these worms are on the left hand side. But the broccoli's not there anymore. Do I need to rewind this video? Did I look at that wrong? Did I do the feeding on the left? I'm pretty sure that I fed the broccoli on the right. Um, yeah, I think you still see bits of the fruit and stuff that was from the previous feeding. So I just like to rifle everything up, kind of check the bottom. Um, One thing I'm always a little worried about is making sure it doesn't go anaerobic, and make sure like the bottom doesn't stink and stuff. When I first started vermicomposting, I mean, you first start, you don't know anything, and all I knew is like watching videos and stuff. Um, I was really worried that I was gonna let my bin dry too much, so I kept like spraying it with water constantly. But it had the bin that I had holes on the bottom, so I was like, oh, there's holes on the bottom, so if there's any extra moisture, it'll seep out. But I think I was keeping my bin way too wet. Um, and even with like a couple holes on the bottom, there's still like water pools up on the bottom. And I remember it did smell a little bit, and it's not supposed to really smell. And I'm really, really happy with how the bin's going these last few times I've opened it up. Um, it does not really seem to smell when I like pull up the bottom and stuff. I'm starting to get like a feel for this of like how much food I should put in every time. Um, it's I'm not it's certainly far from perfect and far from an expert. Um, so what's in this feeding? This is little chopped up bits of like the center of a plum from what I ate. Uh, Maybe like the rest of the grapes that I had. It looks like chopped up bell pepper. I bought like a bag of like 6 bell peppers and used most of them, but there was like 2 left that kind of started rotting a little bit. So just like chopped all those up and give them for the worms. Um, yeah, you could still see all that cardboard that I put in there. The When I first started my worm bends, uh, all the colored card paper, uh, card paper, cardboard. Um, really interested to see how long it's going to be until like that vanishes and we're not going to be able to see that anymore. Okay, I predict that these 2 coffee filters are we're not going to see much of them next time I pull this bin up. And that's not going to be shown in this video. It's going to be shown in next video or 2 videos from now. Um, Probably at least a couple of videos from now on this channel. So like a week or so, um, at least. But I'm interested to see those coffee filters, how little is left of them, because they look like they're really starting to get to the end of their life. Like they hit like you put a coffee filter in there and make it stay there for a week, and it's like oh nothing happened to it, but like you can kind of tell where it hits that critical threshold point where it really starts to break down, and it looks like it's just started to hit that on these ones. So I was talking a lot about the moisture and stuff. Um, Part of I forget this guy I forget the guy's name, but there's this like quote unquote famous, I don't know if he's famous or not. I think he's one of the more watched YouTube vermicomposters. Um, I think AV um, is his channel name. Um, I watched some of his videos. Basically, like I got the idea from him of putting the plastic over. I spray the worms off of my hand to make sure all the little baby worms get off. I think I may have used a little too much on this one, uh, and so hopefully I didn't put too much. Still worms out there. I'm trying to get off. I hope I didn't use too much water here. Um, probably not. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, it's a learning experience, and it's probably best not to do the exact same thing every single time. It's probably good to like add a little bit extra water here and there, add a little extra food here and there, or do different things because then when I check it a week later, I can see what's changed, and that's a greater learning experience. So I sufficiently rambled throughout this whole thing. I was worried that I would have nothing to say, and I was kind of right, but I filled it up most of the way. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Goodbye.